Dig your cleats in.
Line drive, sailing away from Mullins. Oh! An impossible catch. Oh, my goodness.
This is the Hot Corner with Patrick Harris and Joe Fisher.
What did I do wrong? What did I see wrong?
Covering all things baseball, the big leagues, and the MLB to Portland.
And there's another rocket. Trout has tied it up with an absolute bomb to the top of the facade in left center field. Talk about Stanton territory. Trout hammers it, and it's 4-4, 473 feet.
Now, here are your hosts, Patrick Harris and Joe Fisher on 1080 The Fan.
Welcome into the Hot Corner for Must Be a Tuesday, but you know, baby, you know the rules. It's always a Tuesday around here. Patrick Harris with you, Joe Fisher to my left.
Let's go!
It's Julius Randle, this bitch tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go turn the heater up in here. My God.
Oh, boy.
I almost cursed there. It's an effing igloo in here.
I can see Buck smiling for you were not me in the car at 3:01 today, listening to what was going down. I did text in on behalf of us.
This is
to
very
the fan text line. I don't know, did you catch that, Buck? Did you see that? I did let them know other people do work in the building.
The thermostat is a very contentious male subject.
Oh, I listened for 25. You know, it was a good segment and a half on it. Yeah, I caught that.
I did not hear what was happening. What was happening with the thermostat?
Well, apparently there's a war.
Oh,
and we
war.
are just innocent bystanders of said war. You know why, Joe? Because nobody cares.
Yeah, we're the innocent villagers while the North and South Vietnamese duke it out.
Yep, we just happen to live after hours, you know.
Yeah,
when the war shuts down for the day, you know, we're the ones on the streets still.
We're just the innocent bystanders just trying to live our lives, and then 62-degree thermostat.
I know. We're only one.
Who's on what side? Is it?
Well, I guess the boys.
Seeing
the boys
as I just walked into an igloo,
yeah.
I would assume that Suk is on the side of making this cold as effing possible.
That is true, and apparently the boys in the morning like it on the toastier side.
Makes sense. You're coming in. It's already like mid 50s, low 50s when you're getting in. You want to warm up a little bit.
And so the afternoon job is to regulate.
Try and find that even middle, and that's still not good enough for Suk.
It's like hot when they get here, so they try to cool it down, and it's too hot when he gets here. That's what I learned.
No,
that's the nutshell. You don't even have to listen to the first half hour prime time. I just gave it to you.
Even the Cliff Notes, like 10-second version.
Even the marble is cold. Like, do you feel it with your hands?
It is cold.
Yes.
It is cold in here.
What is going on?
You guys have actually a better problem in there than we do in here.
That place gets an oven.
Well, not only does it become an oven in here, but if it does become an oven, it gets stanky because the level of cleanliness in here by the dudes, and I'm one of them, so I guess I can't absolve myself of this, but it's gross. So
Did you just admit that you're stinky?
I try not to be, and Rop has said there is go back and find the segment of best smelling personalities on 1080 The Fan. I am 1 or 2 on that list. So no, I don't smell stinky, but the floor, the chair, I don't know, everything smells stinky in here.
Well, I will say
Swag ain't gonna be happy with that. That means people doing stuff in there that are against Swag's rules.
Well, Swag's got those old man coffee farts going on in there.
Oh God.
He loves making chili too.
Just straight black coffee farts.
He loves making chili, so you put some black coffee on top of it.
And
he's a no bean chili guy, if my memory serves me correct.
And also, I think I need to call out one Jason Swigard. I think he is a notorious.
You think? I know where you're going.
Cat pervert?
No, a notorious dump out the coffee mug in the sink and then just leave dirty coffee mug in the sink and not put it in the dishwasher.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he's a crop duster.
Oh, well, I'd believe that too, but I mean, at his age, it kind of just seeps out, and
He's not 90.
You can't really help it.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
That happened with my grandma all the time. She just wouldn't even realize. It would just start smelling in there and just be like, Grandma!
It's like, what, Joe?
No, I think Swigard does not put his dirty coffee cups in the dishwasher, and then there's just 20 of them at the end of the week, and he's nowhere to be found because he's out of here by 9:30.
10 years doing this show, I don't think I've ever made a mess. I have not spilled on a keyboard. I have not spilled on the board. I'm unbelievably clean.
You sound just like him right now, brother. Even without doing the accent, you're like, I'm amazing at this.
Well, I think it helps that I'm in here, There's 365 days a year. What's that divided by 7?
So you got like
52.
Yeah.
I'm here maybe 52 times a year.
I was gonna say, isn't there just?
I know,
52
Joe. I figured that
weeks?
math out on my own.
Well, let's go like 45. So there's holidays, right? I don't know.
there's a couple.
Holiday, but then I fill in sometimes, so that adds to the pile.
Okay, 54 weeks. in a year.
54 weeks in a year, 8 days a week.
Can I take a moment to
Please.
shout out a listener? By the way,
You found him? You found the one listener of this show?
that's what I told him he was one of 5
Nice.
because apparently your woman is one
Apparently, Suk is number 6 tonight.
at least for 15
He said
minutes.
he was at least. No, it takes a little longer to get where he lives.
at least 15 minutes.
Traffic ain't pretty out there.
No,
Not tonight.
Wanted
no.
to shout out P1 Joel Anderson. It's not normal that people recognize you outside of the studio.
Ah, yes.
But last Friday, I was actually up in your neck of the woods
Oh, the Couve, baby.
with the highfalutin folks, the high income high rollers at Royal Oaks Country Club.
My father-in-law is a member at Royal Oaks Country Club.
Well, tell your father-in-law that I can say, "Nice shot, sir," with the best of them. Okay. Hell of a drive, sir. I'm really good at doing that.
you clearly play offense, sir.
What a shot, sir.
Can I clean your ball, sir?
Please let me clean your balls. But no, our boy Joel works out at the Eagle's Nest, which is like the snack shack after the 4th or 5th hole.
All right, I dig that. What up, Joel?
And I was buying a couple White Claws, and then I give him my card, and he
You
goes,
are in Vancouver. There ain't no laws.
I go and get my card back, and he goes, "Do you listen to 1080 The Fan?" I said, "Yeah, I'm on 1080 The Fan."
That's awesome.
I pulled a Patrick Harris,
I am 1080 the fan. Gotta give me some tune-up on that.
and he's like, "No way, no effing way,
Hey, bro.
But he's the guy that wants us to come out and live broadcast.
From the Snack Shack?
Yes.
Bet your ass I will do that.
Dude, I told him, I was like, hey, it's not me gonna convince. He was telling me they do a whole like glow in the dark neon golf night or something like that.
cosmic golf.
Yeah, and it starts at 7:00 and it happens on a Tuesday on some date. And he's like, and that's when your
Dude.
guys' show is.
Yes,
Dude,
please.
As long as it's
Told you.
from the Snack Shack and we have Boss Man Cooley, resident Red Sox fans, card on file, and we just pull what we need to and he scans them.
Sounds good to me.
If only I knew a sales guy that could pitch that.
Yeah. Somebody can get that done for us, maybe. Eh?
I don't know. I think they went
You know,
home for
I'll
the day.
I'll talk to Johnny.
Yeah, send
Brethren.
send an
Good.
email.
Good
Kurt
looks.
could get it done. Yeah.
I'll talk to
Kugloods.
Johnny.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'll talk to Johnny. He'll help me out.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to old P1 Joel Anderson, who says he's usually 7-8 White Claws deep by the time he's listening to this program. Which I said that's the best time to
that's
listen.
the best time to listen. Yeah,
Yeah.
amigo.
Yeah.
I get it every once in a while. It's really tough when you work in restaurants because it's always when you're like super busy and someone's like, "Hey man, are you Patrick Harris?" And I always respond with, "No, sorry. Who is he?" "Oh, he's on 1080 The Fan. He's a radio guy. You sound just like him."
I'm
like,
Patrick Paris.
Oh, is he any good? That's my favorite question to ask. Is he any good? And then you're kind of like, ooh. One guy was like, he's all right.
Yeah, honestly,
I was like, nice.
take it.
Got it.
yeah, I definitely, I don't think I would have normally responded like that. He's like, hey, do you listen to the 1080 Fan? I'm like, yeah, I'm on 1080 The Fan.
Bruh.
You were just so upset about that shot that Sir hit to beat you.
How many
like,
White Claws
wow.
deep were you when you answered that question?
That was 0. Those were my first 2 White Claws of the day. And then there were 4 birdies that were made in the round. So that's 4 shots of whiskey throughout the round as well. And in a transfusion.
We're gonna
Followed by paper planes at the clubhouse.
have to back this up for a minute. So if you make a birdie, you take a shot.
We all take a shot.
Okay, all right, all right,
Everybody
all right.
takes a shot
That's
with
cool.
every birdie.
That's better.
Yes. So after the
I was
third,
worried. It was like you did something well. Here, make yourself worse.
yeah, no, it's everybody takes a poll, and after about the third birdie, I was like, I hope no one else.
Guys, just stop.
Can we? Yeah, no
Just
more. Please.
yelling at them.
We're,
Put it in the hole.
we're done here. Okay. And then we got one more, and I'm like, all right, well, now we're really done.
What's the worst thing they yell at golf tournaments after the guy hits it?
What's the worst thing to yell?
That like you hear on the TV.
I mean,
I always hear, get it in the hole! And it's like, bro, this is 460
one
yards,
of the most
man.
epic ones my wife and I always quote
460
is
feet.
light the candle. That was a Tiger one, like
Light
what,
the candle?
15, 20 years ago? Light the candle.
There's another one
On this
that
par 5.
there's another one that has
400
gone
yards
around.
of grass.
Light it!
There's a compilation that makes its way around Instagram from time to time, and there's one of the guys that yelled out, "Give me back my son!"
Yes.
That's like just doesn't even make sense, but yes.
Come to my birthday party!
Oh, that's a Mel Gibson callback right there, baby.
I think we got Baba Booey's always a good one. That's a good
Oh.
radio callback right there.
Yeah.
So got to give that some cred.
Oakley dokley. Well, we do have a baseball show for you tonight. Lots to actually get to. The most overhyped thing in the history of baseball, potentially, according to Joe. I didn't look at it that way. So we'll get into that. There's been some really nice player and manager ejections that I would like to talk to a little bit. Also, can you be really good and also be really bad? We'll get into that. But first, I'm so sorry, Joe. This is where we got to start. And it's not good, Joe, when we're in May and I'm saying, I'm sorry, Joe, this is where we have to start for the second time. Joe's O's. Next, Hot Corner, 10 in the Fan.
Plan on flying.
This is the Hot Corner with Patrick Harris and Joe Fisher on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
$7:16 here, Portland Sports Leader. Don't you forget it. We are live from the shadows of the historic Fremont Bridge, 503-864-6326. That's the fan text line. She'll let you interact with us throughout the entire show. Plus, we can also flip it over to youtube.com/1080thefan.
Is that what we decided? The text line was a she. I feel like we brought this up like a week or so ago.
Potentially, I think I tend.
She's like a boat.
I think I tend to label non-gender specific things women because I like women.
Non-anatomic or just non-sentient objects.
Yeah,
Just-
like
well, this text line is sort of sentient.
it is kind of sentient.
Yes, multiple personalities.
She is all over the place.
She is a mess.
There's also
1 minute she loves you, 1 minute she hates you.
Oh, really?
That
People
is
love
the
you?
that is the text.
I
line.
feel like that meme where it's "We are the Millers." I'm the guy at the bottom. He's like, "People like you."
people actually like. Wait, people like you guys?
You get both comments. Coming in from Greg on the YouTube. I hope to see Harris. I already screwed this up. I hope to see Hatrick Paris and Janiel Downs in person someday. Janiel Downs has to be the greatest name in the history of sports, in my opinion. Not to get too loose and sidetrack us too much, but I love Daniel Downs. It's like one of the most amazing things, candidly, I've ever heard.
Well, I will have to say that switching the first letters of your first and last name and realizing that it turns out to be Hattrick.
I actually did talk to Daniel Jones.
Hattrick Paris. That's actually pretty cool.
See, I need him to say Daniel Downs the way they say LeBron James.
I actually did talk to Daniel Jones.
Like, I need some Daniel Downs.
And you forgot his name already. Good job, Malik Neighbors.
Well, he doesn't have to anymore.
That's true.
It's like that line in Major League. This guy's dead. Well, cross him off then. Well, another domino, another hammer has fallen as another manager loses their job. I almost said loses their life. Loses their job. And this one is interesting because I feel it's a little to be expected, but a little premature, but also not his fault. And that would be Brandon Hyde was relieved of duties for Joe's Baltimore Orioles, who are just in an unbelievable, like, I'm not trying to pile on you, Joe. You know I'm very supportive of your O's. In a very, I would say the story of the season, the fact that the worst team in the American League is the Chicago White Sox and very, very near them are the Baltimore Orioles.
Only one win difference between the two.
I will start by saying that this is, in my opinion, a little bit of a BS move. And by a little bit, I mean, I think it's kind of a lot of BS move in Major League Baseball. I think you can maybe look at the manager and say, okay, Adley's not having a great start. Gunnar was hurt, so he's taking time to ramp up. But did Brandon Hyde let Santander walk? Did Brandon Hyde not sign a starting pitcher? Did he get Grayson Rodriguez hurt? I think that's a little, there's always a fall guy. But in this case, I don't know if Brandon Hyde was doing such poor of a job that he deserved to be a fall guy this soon.
Well, I had a feeling with their regression last year, halfway through the season, followed by back-to-back winless playoff performances by them.
The playoff performances are glaring.
That, and again, the way that the season ended last year, dude, was not good, and not in the playoff sense. They could not hit the last 2 to 3 months of the season. They were not a good baseball team.
And they can't hit these first 2 seasons.
No, and this
is 2 months of the season.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago. What is the problem with this team? Is like it's a managerial problem, but it's also a player problem, and it's a front office problem. Like Mike Elias, general manager of the Orioles, by getting rid of Brandon Hyde and openly admitting today, it was either today or the other day, that, yeah, I effed up in not getting the right starting pitching, and that our best pitcher is a 35-year-old rookie from Japan.
And our second best is a 43-year-old who's not having a good season.
And not even going to be on the roster here soon, I imagine.
Yeah.
Like they brought Kyle Gibson up for like 1 or 2 starts, and then
oh God.
And then they already cut him.
Like, oh God, we've seen this before.
But I think you're right in the sense that I had a feeling this was gonna happen at either the end of the season or a little bit later, maybe like at the beginning of July or All-Star break.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago. I thought All-Star break.
But this season, it was going in such a wrong direction so quickly that I feel like it was almost like a la the Nuggets getting rid of Malone, like the Grizzlies getting rid of Jenkins. It's like, let's try and do something to get a shot in the arm to try and turn this around now versus waiting and things not changing and getting different eyes on the lineup, on the bullpen,
the old cliche of you can't win a World Series in May, but you can lose it unless you're the Nationals in 2019.
Yeah, well, and coincidentally, I think it's at this point in the season, the Orioles, they're 16 games below 500.
I mean, that's the question. Is this season gone?
Yes, because there's literally been, this was the stat, no team that was 16
this
games
bad. I mentioned those Nationals. They weren't this bad.
They never made the playoffs. A team with this many that was below 500 this much at this point in the season. So, yeah, the season's gone. Like, they would have to have a monumental resurgence, and when you have the starting pitching that they do, that's not going to happen. And
there's not much out there.
No, but here's the other problem is that Mike Elias loves his approach because it worked so well in Houston that stockpile a bunch of young talent.
And he's done that.
And he's done that with the Orioles. The thing is, he's held on to them. There are so many young guys on this team that he could have gotten rid of a few of them, and he just didn't. And it was almost one of those like, I know each one of these guys.
Are you talking about guys like Colton Cowser, like dudes like that? Like what kind of guys are you
Like
talking
Hurstad.
Hurstad is something that comes into mind. I know that Kobe Mayo is in the AAA. That is, someone that they could
Highly
have
sought
thrown on
after.
trade. Samuel Basayo as well, even though I love him and he's just a huge bat, so I kind of don't want them to get rid of him.
I love Jordan Westberg. Don't give up on him, but I love him.
Westberg is who I
Jordan
was thinking
Westberg,
of,
but
not
he
Cowser.
was an all-star last year.
I think Cowher's on the 60 day right now, actually.
Yes, he is. And then you have some older talent where it's at Cedric Mullins and Ryan Mountcastle, where you felt like you couldn't get rid of them or didn't want to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's
Tyler O'Neill's been. Ugh.
Well, that was an
Yeah, that's
off-season
not-
signing, and actually, to Elias's credit, he spent the money, and that's not Hyde's fault. It's not Hyde's fault that Gary Sanchez is down. It's not Hyde's fault that Tyler O'Neill's hitting $180 or whatever the hell he is.
No, and that's why I think that I just think they saw Hyde as not being able to turn this around, and that it was only going to get worse, and that he had run his course. And it was like, thanks for rolling through the bad years and turning it into good years, but based off of what we've seen the last two playoff performances last year and the beginning of this year, we've lost faith in you being able to manage this team, and now it's on Mike Elias, as he's recognized his mistakes, to try and do something different, because hopefully that is a sign of growth and change, and also him recognizing, like, now that I fired him, we got rid of him, that it is now my responsibility to turn this around.
There's no new scapegoat
and
now.
dude, I said it from the very beginning and before the season even started, is that their starting pitching was not good enough.
No.
And then it doesn't help that Grayson.
Not just even in that division.
Well, and it doesn't help that Grayson Rodriguez went down with the injury. But again, it's like your offseason acquisitions pitching were Charlie Morton and Tomoyuki Sagano, which you're lucky hit, but you're wasting his efforts at this point.
And I don't think you can really blame him for not getting Corbin Burns. It felt like Arizona was going to do whatever it took to get him.
And you had a good season with Dean Kremer that you're banking that was going to happen again.
Did you see the quote from Sean Manaea?
Oh, yeah, that they didn't even
did
talk
Baltimore
to him.
talk to you? He was like,
no,
absolutely not, which I thought was strange.
Yeah.
Which, like, you can read as a little arrogant, but also, like, there wasn't much out there outside of Max Fried and Corbin Burns.
Someone else made
Everybody outside of that was quote unquote affordable. And that's kind of what I'm getting to. That's my biggest fear. My biggest concern with the direction that this is heading is that Elias stockpiled all this talent and he's worked to build a nucleus, and now you have new owners. And is this one of the classic, is this what's going on in Phoenix in the NBA? Is this one of those things? Is this what's going on in Carolina in the NFL? Is this one of those things where you get owners that come in that have no idea what they're doing and step on their toes? Is this whatever the hell's going on in Dallas? Although everything seems to be okay now that, they like the Duke kid. But that's what concerns me. Is this another case of new owners stepping into baseball and wrecking something that was, maybe not processed the way we wanted it to be, but don't turn the process into like the Sixers process, which is what this could easily turn into. If Gunnar Henderson blows out his knee next year, how different is Baltimore than the 76ers?
Well, I'll tell you this, is that I don't think it's a ownership problem. Usually.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. That's why I wanted to ask you.
Well, there's a source close to the front office, that David Rubenstein has expressed willingness to spend, and that's usually how a new owner is. Like,
that's what you want.
I just spent $2 billion. Like,
let's send some more.
Let's do this.
But I'm worried that it's like they've had such a bad start that he's the one that's like, dude, it's Hyde. I didn't hire this guy. I don't know this dude. Get him out of here. Mostly because I think Hyde is going to get a job next year.
I don't know where.
It's not going to be a good job, but Pirates would love to have him. He's a great manager.
The Pirates are used to not scoring more than 4 runs. So,
but and if it's not the Pirates or the Rockies, but somebody's going to get left out of the playoffs, okay? Or if it's not this year, let's say the Diamondbacks miss the playoffs this year and next year. Torey Lovullo, gone. In comes Brandon Hyde.
Well, this is what kills me, and this was a tweet.
A place like that.
This was a tweet from Aaron Gleeman, who is a writer for The Athletic. He covers the Twins, but he had a tweet about the Orioles, and it sums it up, the frustration of this team and their unwillingness to spend. He says, Orioles went through a full-on rebuild, including 300 lost seasons, just to come out the other side and spend less on payroll than they did a decade ago. And that's the thing, is that when you get a good team, it's like, all right, you can either pull the Rays approach and just try and work the hell out of this franchise and the amount of money you can spend, being that you are Tampa Bay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you have this much young talent and you are a perennial AL East contender and you have the talent to acquire stars, whether it's via trade, but also a new owner who's willing to spend, then spend. And the fact that you didn't is just very frustrating as a fan.
And the holding on to talent is
another frustrating thing. I love all of our guys. I love our young nucleus, but at a point too, it's just kind of like, dude, you could probably combo a few of these guys together with some, whatever prospects that we're not even on our radar.
Oh, I think there's a lot of people in the 206 up north that would agree with you on that.
Yeah, I've been saying it for almost a year now. I'm like, dude, we'll make a trade to the Mariners to take one of their arms.
Yeah, take Miller, Kirby.
We got some young talent we'll be willing to give you.
And you got bats too, would you give up the big bat kid you said you got in the minors?
You got Kerstad. You can do
Samuel
Jordan
Basayo.
Would you give up Basayo for Woo?
A lot of Mariners fans have mentioned Mayo as somebody that could be included in a deal like that.
Would you give up Kobe Mayo for Bryce Miller?
I'm
maybe not right now.
Well, with the starting
Check
pitching,
that elbow.
with starting pitching the way it is for this team, it's just like our video guy Jake out there. He was asking me what makes you more mad as a fan, a team that can't hit but can pitch really well, or a team that can't pitch but can hit really well?
Well, I don't know. I'm a Cleveland fan,
and I'm a Mariners fan. I would say pitching.
Success, I've had since 2000. There's 6 Cy Youngs in Cleveland,
and I was saying to him, it drives me nuts when great pitching performance are wasted.
It's really tough. Yep. It's really tough.
So I'd rather have a really good offense.
It costs guys Hall of Fame.
Yes, but so I'd rather
Felix never made the playoffs.
I'd really have a good hitting team and win 11-8 than lose 3-1. And so
I kind of like the 3-1 games.
But when you don't have either,
probably more in the postseason. Though.
And the starting pitching is as bad as it is, it makes you think just dude, if we can't score, I might as well give us a chance with good starting pitching.
Yeah.
And that's what's frustrating.
I mean, it's how, as a fan of my team, not to circle back and shoehorn my squad in, but I'm going to do that right now. But we're in the ALCS, and we're a couple bozo plays away from potentially being in the World Series last year. And is our lineup the Yankees? No, God, no. But that pitching staff looked better than they did. And that when in the regular season on a Monday night in May, on a Thursday afternoon in August, it might not be sexy baseball to win 3-1. But in October, boy, that feels real nice because everyone you're playing's got a team.
Well, that has been the Orioles' problem when we get to postseason.
But you're not even getting that 3 right now.
But their first game starter is it does not strike fear in the opponent at all.
To your guys' point, though, there was really nobody outside of going to pay Corbin Burns, get a Fried. You want to pay Blake Snell a bunch of money. That was literally their only option.
And none of them felt available.
And nobody wants to trade a Luis Castillo either. So what do you do as the Orioles?
You get Charlie Morton at the age of 58.
Oh, brutal.
Well, yeah, brutal. Or Justin Verlander. Does Nick Pivetta ruffle your skirt this offseason?
Nick Pivetta might have ruffled my skirt a little bit.
I bet you I could look up
only because
all
of a soft
starting
breeze.
Pitching signings from free agency and come up with probably at least 10 guys that they realistically could have gone after.
I'd have kicked the curb. I'd have kicked the tires on Jack Flaherty again. I'd have kicked the tires on Walker Buehler. I would have called Miami about Sandy, although he's having an awful year, but I would have asked.
Severino, maybe.
Sean Manaea, Clay Holmes. Yeah, I guess more and more you think about it, the more and more options there are. All right, this will be fascinating to keep an eye on, and let's see what the Orioles might now be the most fascinating team for the trade deadline, which is in 2 months.
Well,
but this might be one of the more fascinating teams to see what they do because they got problems.
I don't know what the point is anymore.
Sell,
at this
sell,
point.
sell.
Joe's given up. All right, when we come back, let's keep Joe fired up. Is it overblown when you hit one that you think is gone and don't run? We'll get to that next, but first we'll toss it to Schultz with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan, Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals between the Minnesota Timberwolves and Thunder in Oklahoma City happening right now. Just about a minute to go in the third quarter. It looks like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just hit a shot. Got the foul call for an and one as well. Puts the lead at 75-65 for the Thunder right now with Shai at the line to add to it, possibly make it an 11-point lead for the Thunder. So far, he has now got 22. Going to make it 23 here soon. Jalen Williams, 15, leading the charge for the T-Wolves. That'd be Julius Randle with 20 points. Anthony Edwards back on the court after rolling his ankle in the first half. Over in hockey, in the Eastern Conference Finals, you got the Florida Panthers in Carolina taking on the Hurricanes. 9 minutes to go in the third period. They are beating them down. Florida is pretty handily 4-1 the score over the Hurricanes in that game one. And in baseball, the Seattle Mariners in Chicago taking on the White Sox for game 2 of a 3-game set. Had a 2-hour delay or so before they did eventually get the game going. Bottom 5th, the White Sox lead the game right now 1-0. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Heard of missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now, Window Nation brings you on-demand videos. Watch Window Nation's window into 1080 The Fan.
I'm George McCoy with the Warren Allen Attorneys at Law. Finally, winter's over, and we're starting to thaw. Just because spring has sprung,
This is the Hot Corner with Patrick Harris and Joe Fisher on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
Pretty stoked. I'm seeing this band in 2 weeks in Las Vegas, baby. It's my 40th birthday.
I don't know who this
My
is.
smoking hot wife is taking me to Vegas.
'Cause I know the Eagles were just in the Sphere.
They're not playing at the Sphere. This is Goose. They're playing at a small club.
Eagles, Goose. What kind of avian creature are you going to see next?
Well, there's also a band called Pigeons playing ping pong.
I was just about to say pigeons jokingly.
Yeah, I'm going to Vegas in 2 weeks, so I'll miss the show in 2 weeks.
Are you missing a show because of Idaho or
No, I leave for Idaho tomorrow, but I'll be back on Tuesday.
Tomorrow, eh?
Yeah, I leave tomorrow. If I don't return, tell everybody I hate them.
We'll survive those sick rapids, bro.
Sam's gonna shed the Narba on the waves, bro. Yeah, we're coming back on Monday, but the wife and I don't work Monday and don't need to be anywhere till Tuesday at 6:58 p.m. So I was
as they say, man, don't flip the boat unless you got a life jacket.
that is what they say. I've lived that. So we're, instead of driving 7.5 hours home on Monday, we're gonna split it up. And I was like, yo, babe, where do you want to go? You want to go to Walla Walla, hit some vino country?
Oh, yeah.
And she said, you know what? I've never been to Pullman, Washington.
You're like, hand me that fresh pair of underwear back there, please. Give me a towel.
So I'm taking my wife, my smoking hot wife, to Pullman, Washington.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Taking her back to the frat?
Back to the no, thank God, no.
I am a legend here, okay?
Yeah, right. I'm so glad I'm not that guy. So glad I'm not that guy.
See me up on that wall right there?
Delta Phi, baby!
God. Hottest chick I ever got. I mean, a little bit of
Sigma Nu!
I got very lucky that, I went to community college first.
Not gonna lie.
So I missed the whole, recruitment pitch.
I did too, my first couple of years. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want Joey to be a frat, bro.
Why?
Because I think it'd be funny.
I think it raises the
I think I'd make fun of him a lot.
I think it
because of
raises the
That's mostly
opportunity to for him to be a loser, Joe.
I think it would just be funny whenever I'd see him, be like, "So, how the boys doing
How
at
the
Beta,
boys
at
doing
Beta
at Beta
Chi?"
Phi, baby?
Woo! And also just the frat shenanigans too. Like, I saw a video of these guys at a frat, and they were having like a memorial service for their dead goldfish.
Yeah, like that stuff's fun.
And there was like it was like 50. No, I think it was like they also invited a sorority, and there was like 100 people deep.
Yeah,
for a full blown
like that
funeral memorial service for Bubbles or whatever his name was.
Yeah, that stuff's fun. I just more worried about the underage consumption and illegal nefarious things that go on during those parties.
I have him join.
I wouldn't want number 4 to get involved with that.
He'll be in the good frat.
He'll be in the good frat.
Where
the
they're
nerd frat.
They're just hitting the books.
Be the nerd frat.
Just hitting the books.
Nerd frat. The nerd frat. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll get into some funny little things that I've seen about people being ejected over the last few weeks. But Joe, this seems to be the story that is dominating the headlines here in Major League Baseball.
I want to talk about nerds.
And you could care less. Yesterday, a double was should have been double was hit off the green monster by Juan Soto, and he could have
gotten gunned out too.
He could have. I watched Vientos barely make it to second today, and Juan Soto did not hustle out of the box. Thus, did not have an attempt at a single off. And the argument is that the ball was. He thought it was gone. I thought it was gone.
Yeah, I thought too.
I thought it was gone.
I probably would have done, and that's the thing. I would have done the same thing. I'd have been like, "Oh, dude, I have
baby, over the wall."
Yeah, take a couple steps, and then you realize, ass.
Because it's still, if you get it like just over the wall, it's still only like a 375-foot home run. But when you hit it over the wall, you're like, I hit it over the wall.
Another reason why that big dumb green wall in left field is stupid to begin with. I don't care how old it is and and the tradition or whatever the hell.
But I think this whole thing was exacerbated by the fact that Carlos Mendoza was asked about it and kind of didn't stick up for Juan Soto.
No.
Kind of threw shade at Juan Soto, thus making this a bigger deal than Joe would like.
And I don't know if even the quote was that bad. He was just like, yeah, I'll talk to him about it. You want to usually get out of the box a little bit quicker. And then people are like, he's not hustling. I'm like, dude, okay.
He got his bag. He doesn't care.
I
cannot believe that he did not even try.
Like, we have all seen the plays of guys where it is like a grounder in between shortstop and third, and it's like, dude, if you run your ass off,
you might get it.
And then it flips over and the guy's jogging down the first baseline, and you're like, that's not hustling. That is not hustling to me.
On the flip side, I also watched two guys in the Cincinnati and Pirates game today slip out of the box after hitting ground balls because it was pouring rain. Please don't ask why I was watching Cincinnati-Pittsburgh.
Have you noticed
Oh, I know why.
I had Nick Martinez on the bump.
Hey, your boy Tito, come on.
Because there was nothing else on. No, have you noticed that there's like no willingness to pull guys off the field in rain this year. Like, it was raining down in San Diego. Mariners and Padres played a full 9. Like, rain pretty much throughout the game. I'm
yeah,
kinda
but rain in
surprised.
California is different than rain in Cleveland. Like, if you're trying to play a baseball game in the Midwest today, good luck.
But they're letting them slip, and they just still let it go? Like, that's surprising to
It's
me.
not in Cleveland. We protect players.
I feel like basically
That's my teammate.
I just feel like this is something for non-baseball fans to talk about and care about.
It does feel a little like it does feel a little national media grasping at straws
Yeah.
because the guy makes $800 million.
Yeah, which like
765 or whatever.
and I
it
think
is.
that it's easy to be like, hey, highest paid baseball player, highest
Not
paid
very
athlete,
hustling.
didn't run. Oh my god, I work 16 hours a day in a construction site.
You know, Shohei only makes $2 million a year. I see him hustle. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say is that people that pay attention to baseball, what should be of concern is that he particularly isn't hitting the ball well.
He's incredibly average.
And he can't, he's not scoring guys that are in running position. I think I saw his average with runners in scoring position.
It's below
like-
200.
yeah, it's like 170 or something.
I think that's the biggest concern. And actually, Mendoza actually alluded to that. He was like, I think he's just frustrated because he's not hitting well right now. But there's also, again, I don't want a national media grasp at straws, but I do feel like there's a little bit of something potentially going on here. Like, I'm doom scrolling Reddit last night, and someone's sharing a tweet from Jeff Passan saying, I just want to confirm that there is no issue between the Mets and Soto about flying privately and not with the team. And my thought is just kind of like, well, I didn't even know that was a thing, but you're telling me it's not a thing, but that's the first I've heard of it. So is it a thing? So again, I don't know if that's, let's put all the scrutiny on the high price player in the high price market, or if maybe he isn't happy.
What also kills me is this recent trend.
Yankee fans sure didn't make him happy.
Well, that's what I was
You
about
see
to.
them all turn their backs on him.
Yes, that
in
was
right field?
There was part of me that was kind of funny, but also
The bleacher
even-
creatures there's a cold place in hell for those losers.
But also-
but that I kind of liked that.
It was funny, but it's like, dude, he was there for a year. Like,
Did take him to a World Series.
yeah, like
Pretty damn good.
Whatever. And then
Whatever.
what kills me on Twitter though is that apparently the new dig at Juan Soto is that he hasn't shown any emotion as a Mets player, and that they show highlights of him like hitting a home run as the Yankees. He's like, has he even shown an ounce of this with the Mets? He clearly doesn't care about playing.
Have
for
you
the
even
Mets like
said
he does for
thank
the
you?
Yankees? I'm like,
You're lucky you're here, bro.
dude, they have like the basically.
If our owner didn't make money by manipulating this American economy and the stock market, you wouldn't even be here.
They are literally a half game outside of the best record in the National League.
I know.
Like, I think he's like, as far as team and enjoying his team, I think he's doing fine.
Also,
He's just struggling a little bit.
look, Juan Soto is not the leader of your team. He wasn't when he was in New York. He wasn't in San Diego. He's not in New York. In New York, that's Frankie Lindor written all over it, and Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
And not just because they're the best players, but in when he was in San Diego, dude, Manny Machado runs that
And
team.
also, Pete Alonso very much also did the same exact thing Juan Soto did the other day of hitting a ball
Yeah, I saw that one
in a
too.
deep left where he thought it was gone and started doing his trot to first base, and it was caught.
But
and
he don't make 765.
No.
But in
He
dumb
might.
in dumb fans' defense, it is the highest paid guy on the team that's supposed to be the heartbeat, right? The heart,
They
the
have the
soul,
third
leader.
best record in the National League.
No. I get that, but you don't see him leading anything. Any of the stat categories, you look at it, he's in the middle. Like, so what do you expect from a guy that just got the highest contract in baseball history, the highest production you've ever seen? At least as a general fan, I understand why they're kind of crying and pissed at him. It makes somewhat sense.
I think you have a decent point there, but it took Frankie Lindor a couple years to figure it out in New York, and I think he's got it figured out right now.
Well, you would let Frankie Lindor sleep with your wife, all right?
Oof.
You would.
I don't have to. My wife sleeps in a Frankie Lindor t-shirt jersey that says Cleveland Indians on the front, baby. That's best of both worlds. She's looking fine in that shirt, too.
Also, for what it's worth, he does have the second highest WAR on the team behind Pete Alonso,
fine.
who is having
I'm with
an
you.
unreal season.
I'm with you. He's fine.
What, WAR is not important?
War is good, but it takes fielding into account, and it does.
And his fielding sucks.
But he's still, I don't know. The WAR is not a complete stat.
Actually, and
It's a good
that's
stat,
his batting WAR, so it doesn't even take.
Oh,
into,
there you go.
In
Okay,
fact,
well.
just the WAR.
Well, he's
bad
walking
boy.
a lot then, I assume?
His door.
His door.
Well, he's walking a lot like he always does, because that's what I've always loved about him, is the dude has one of the best eyes of the
That's why he makes $765 million.
Yeah.
He's got one of the best eyes, if not the best eyes in baseball.
Yeah, he's got a 380 on base percentage.
Yeah, that is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a guy not hitting well and you're still 380 on base, that's pretty damn good. All right. We got a big.
He has 38 walks this year.
That's
got to be leading the league, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was, or at least top 5.
When we get to the second hour, there's teams that are streaking, teams that are losing, plus we're up fair or foul. But before we do that, I'd love to kind of have a little fun, even though we've already been kind of messing around a lot today. I'd like to have a little fun with some managerial and player ejections that I've noticed over the last few days and weeks, including a saucy one from today at Fenway. There's more coming. That's Joe Fisher. I'm Patrick Harris, 1080 The Fan.
This is the Hot Corner with Harrison Fisher on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
I am 1080 The Fan.
Down goes Anderson! Down goes Anderson!
Excuse me, he looks really hot.
What kind of weird things will Will put in his mouth?
Sometimes in life, you really take it on the face, and it just comes at you day after day after day.
Coming up in the second hour, we'll talk about teams streaking, teams not looking so good, but teams streaking that aren't good, and teams tanking that are good.
A pretenders and contenders.
Oh, if you
segment.
may.
Oh,
If
the
you
way
may.
MLB Network framed it was just roses, baby.
Oh,
I think I know the segment you're talking about.
Oh, okay, great. But I want to kind of have a little fun with a little bit because, like, we're in baseball. Like, I got a list of things we could talk to, but like Joe and I have been trying to talk about if Max Scherzer's done for like 3 weeks and it just keeps getting pushed. But he's still on the roster, so we can talk about that
And
later.
he's still on IL, so
Yeah. I did like the coin flip thing though.
I'm,
You didn't see that.
I'm unfamiliar.
The ref the umpire was having a rough day behind the mound.
One of
just
many.
very, very inconsistent strike zone. I don't even remember who was behind the mound, but it cuts over to Max Scherzer, who's at the end, like laying on the banister there of the dugout, and he's miming flipping a coin
Wow.
and checking to see if it's a ball or strike.
That's pretty good.
Heads, strike. Love it.
But some things that I want to share with you, friends, today are some things that I have gotten a really good kick out of. I don't remember if it was this week or if it happened last week. I don't remember if we talked about it. If we did, it's worth bringing up again. Torey Lovullo had an ejection that's one of my all-time favorite ejections. If you didn't see this, he gets tossed a few games ago, maybe a week or so, maybe 2 weeks ago. And he's running out there and he's yelling at the umps, just really red-assing on these guys' case. They toss him, and he's yelling at all of them. And then, in the grandiose move, he points at each umpire standing there, tosses them, and then gives like an around the world, all of you guys.
F you,
Yeah.
F you, F you. You're cool.
F
And then
you.
I don't
I'm
think
out.
don't think that's been done since Lloyd McClendon did it with the Mariners.
It was so
That's
good.
cool.
Like, you point at each dude.
I'm not
and-
ejected. You're ejected.
Yeah, you point
You're
at
outta
each dude,
here.
and then you toss. That one was really great. Another good one that I saw the other
I
day.
love the highlight or the headline on this. Torey Lovullo ejected 7 umpires on this play.
Yes,
It is an MLB ejection record.
It's great. My other favorite I saw was Mike Schilt the other day when Fernando Tatis got tossed at the plate. Tatis is at the plate and he takes 2 strike calls. The second, they're really bad. The second one is the third strike and he's there looking. It's way outside. It's not a good call. And the rumor on the street is that Tatis leaned into the umpire after striking out and said, "You're not invited to my birthday party anymore." And the umpire said, "You're gone," and tossed him,
I hope that's true.
which
God, I
led
really hope that.
led Mike Schilt out of the dugout, who's got a clipboard in one hand, a pen
He don't
in
take
the
no
other.
shilt, all right?
He's got a pen in one hand, a clipboard in the other. He tosses the pen to the side. He tosses the clipboard to the side.
He's
Then he
sopping wet.
Then he takes his glasses off and tosses them to the side on the ground. Then gets in the ump's face and 10 seconds later is tossed. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I think the NL West is really getting into something fun this year just on the field. And if you throw in, you know, Schilt being crazy and Lovullo being a red ass, Melvin will get after it. You know Melvin will get after it.
I've loved the Bob Melvin ejection or two over the years.
I am very, very excited about that. It warms my heart.
Wasn't the Schilt thing too because he does such a good job at controlling his dugout? I think I remember the lip reading. He's like, we're one of the best in the league at controlling our emotions, and you're out here not even letting me come out to protect my guy. Like, he chewed him out. I think the only thing that needed to happen was either a dirt kick or like flipping the hat around backwards.
Dude, he threw his glasses on
My
the ground.
God.
Like nonchalantly. Are you looking for it, Joe?
Oh, I've seen the video already, but it had been like about a week or two since then, so I'm looking back. It just kills me that he is just soaked also because it was raining super hard that game. Like, I don't know why that cracks me up, but that's just like he is just full of piss and vinegar and rainwater. Like, his jersey is just soaked brown, and yeah, he is not happy though.
And then today there was a good one. If you were watching Mets Red Sox at all,
Dude, those potty mouths in Boston.
dude, Walker Buehler hits Frankie, who goes to first. Frankie then steals second, and as Buehler throws the pitch, the catcher kind of makes it clear, like, I'm going to throw. Juan Soto backs out of the box, and I don't know who the catcher is for the Red Sox. I don't care. I'll ask Cooley. He knows all those guys. He throws to second, doesn't get Frankie. Frankie's safe. But the pitch that Buehler threw is down the pipe. It is gas down the pipe, and the ump calls it a ball. So after Frankie's called safe at second, the umpire puts up his hand, says it's a ball, and Walker Buehler melts down. He's yelling, that was right down the bleeping plate. Right down the bleeping plate. And the umpire says, hey, you need to walk back to the mound. And Walker Buehler looks at him and goes, F you. And he goes, and you're gone. Like you
So
can
good.
see it on the, like when you watch the replay, they're going to keep showing it. He points at him and he literally just says, F you, and walks off the mound, walks off the field. Absolutely fantastic. Cora goes out there and says some things and he gets tossed, but Cora's a loser.
You know, I think what just needs to happen permanently going forward is managers are mic'd up, and as soon as we see them leaving the dugout, we flash a little like advisory warning on the screen.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Parental advisory is suggested for this next managerial umpire meeting.
We really
and then we throw it up, mics on, so that way we can hear the whole thing. Come on, let's go European with it. They show boobs on TV all the time, right?
We really need to advertise that as a main part of the game.
That'd be so great.
Spit on that thing.
Ratings would just skyrocket.
I swear, I feel like we should in the system somewhere have that Terry Collins ejection.
You gotta give us a chance. We're fighting out there, and you gotta give us a chance.
Why not? MLB done nothing about those guys.
So good. So good.
Or Noah Syndergaard. I'm just trying to throw an effing fastball. You lying son of a bitch.
I love it. I love it so much. All right, when we come back, loaded second hour coming up. We'll dive into teams that are streaking and teams that are struggling. What do you believe? What do you not believe? Plus fair or foul at the bottom of the hour. That's Schultz on the ones and twos. This is the Hot Corner. 10 the Fan.
From the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the Western Conference Finals tipping off tonight in Oklahoma City between the Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. About 4.5 minutes to go in the game right now. OKC has a comfortable lead. Of course, not over yet, though. 99-84 the score at this point. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leading all scores with 31. Julius Randle leading the way for the Timberwolves with 26, including 5 threes, although all of those were in the first half. Over on the ice, game one of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Panthers and Carolina Hurricanes going Florida's way, 5-2 the final to give them a 1-0 series lead. And in baseball, the Seattle Mariners in Chicago taking on the White Sox. A very cold, rainy, windy night in the Windy City is what I meant to say. And at this point, Seattle having just 2 hits on the scoreboard thanks to J.P. Crawford and Cal Raleigh. But they got, 6-7 outs remaining. We'll see if they can do anything, and it would just take a run to tie up the game at this point. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Heard and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com.
Now you kiss and Chase Utley, and that's it.
Why are you pushing Chase Utley on me? It's starting to get weird.
This is the Hot Corner.
Okay, look, I have a plan, all right? And it involves you getting this letter to him when you get out there to kiss him. Now, I have given this to Major League Baseball, his lawyer, his manager, his mom, and he has not gotten back to me, which means he hasn't gotten it yet. So just...
Did you write a love letter to Chase Utley?
With Patrick Harris and Joe Fisher.
In a lot of ways, yes, I do love him, but that is not a love letter in the way that you're thinking of it, okay? There's nothing sexual or...
Okay, that sounds good.
Pal
I'm
around.
gonna read it.
Yeah, read it.
Dear Chase, they're stickers.
Yeah.
My God.
On the Odyssey app.
Dear Chase, I feel like I can call you Chase because you and me are so much alike. I would love to meet you someday. It would be great to have a catch. I know I can't throw as fast as you, but I think you would be impressed with my speed. Did you have a good relationship with your father? Me neither.
And 1080.
These are all things we can talk about and more. I am sure our relationship would be a real home run.
The Fan.
All right, welcome to the second hour of the Hot Corner. You're missing the first hour. You can download that, the Fan Podcast, at 1080thefan.com. The Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcasts, including places that rhyme with Minnesota's going to lose this gamify.
As they should. They choked it in the second half.
Yeah, what was
against
with that?
my Oklahoma City Thunder?
Dude, what was with that? Like, you had Ant out for a minute and Julius Randle hitting threes from Steph Curry land.
And they still had the lead?
I just don't get it.
Yeah, well, Oklahoma City is inevitable, my man.
They are good.
They've got those kind of Warrior vibes where it's like, yeah, we'll play with our food a little bit, and here's a 20-point.
They got Warrior vibes without, like, the world knowing who their guys are, you know?
Well, and I know that, I mean, a lot of people have just been doubting this team because of how young they are. You know,
see Caruso.
That makes sense. Young teams, it's hard to trust them, but
yeah.
I said from the very beginning of the playoffs, we kind of talked about this, I think, during the break, it was either after last week's show or something like that. Sometimes we just try to look for things that aren't there in the bigger picture and try and connect dots. And sometimes things just are what they are. It is what it is. And the Oklahoma City Thunder are an amazing team that won 68 games and had one of the best point differentials in the league. So therefore, that's why I said at the beginning of the playoffs, I'm going to take them to win the whole thing, which is not particularly a hot take, I don't think.
I'm totally with you. Like, I'm going to pull back the curtain here right now. Hopefully my boss isn't listening to me. This is something that I am so bad at. Like, you get to the conference finals, and a buddy asked me the other day, he was like, yo, who do you want to see in the NBA finals? And I was like, give me Minnesota, Indy all day,
I would love to see Minnesota in the
Tyler,
finals.
let's do this. That sounds so fun. And it's like, you're such an idiot. The answer is Thunder Knicks. Of course, that's the matchup.
Well, and again, like, that's where it's like, if we
and
did
I
this,
always want, like, the worst ratings bomb you could ever have. I'm like, I don't know, man. Tigers, Diamondbacks in the World Series would be pretty fun.
Hey, World Series is always fun.
And they're like, or Yankees, Dodgers. I'm like, yeah, but I saw it. No, I don't think the Yankees can beat the Dodgers. The Tigers, though, I think they could give them a run.
Well, we did this on Sports Sunday last week, 2 weeks ago, I believe. Who do you want to win? Who do you think will win? And who do you think needs it the most? And I said who I want to see win it is Minnesota, but I always thought it was going to be Oklahoma City.
Oh, the player is Ant.
Oh yeah, I mean,
the player without
it
in the whole shebang.
Can't get enough of him.
I mean, even take, you know, I might even say I think it'd be better if Ant won one than Luka. That's just my opinion. That might be a hot take. Not intentionally, but I just think the world of Ant, I think it'd be great. But as far as Ant, SGA, Hallie, and Brunson, Ant's the guy.
He's the dude.
But Oklahoma's so good, and they're going to be good for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, they are very good.
And as much as I would love, I'm a 90s basketball kid. I grew up a Pacer fan. I'm not currently a Pacer fan. I have no rooting interest in these iterations of the Pacers. But I would love to see the Knicks make the finals and lose, because I watch them lose in the playoffs all the time to my Pacers in the 90s.
Well, I would also like to see that happen because their fans are the absolute worst.
Exactly.
They are jerks.
But they're throwing stuff
good.
at Brian Windhorst.
Come on.
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Come on. And there were some fans that were like, whoa, 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 whoa.
That's Brian freaking
Brian
Windhorst.
Windhorst.
Well, I mean, the organization, they kicked Charles Oakley out because of the owners beef
Yeah,
with
Dolan
him.
sucks.
I like, if I'm looking
But-
at the Knicks, I just try to look at the players on
The
the
whole-
court, and
But
they
garden
are intriguing.
basketball, basketball is awesome.
The whole
As a Big
celebrity-
East lover, the garden basketball is
Oh,
awesome.
hey, man, I'm right there in with you with the Big East love. But the whole celebrity row thing kind of is cringy, too. It's like, you don't even care about the Knicks.
Oh, what's worse, Celebrity Row in New York or L.A.?
New York.
I would say, that's a tough one. I would say Celebrity Row in New York because LA at least makes sense being the entertainment capital of the world.
Yep.
I just feel like people fly out to New York so that way they can be seen
at a Knick
the
game.
Knicks game. And it's like, the Knicks have sucked the last 20 years.
If you're
right?
not Spike, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like Ben
or,
Stiller.
Or Ben
Spike.
Stiller, yeah.
Ben Stiller is from New York, so I understand. Like, there's a couple of guys or gals that belong there.
Yeah, if like Larry David was at a Knick game, I'd buy that.
Yeah, but like Rihanna showing up at a Knick game,
Well,
it's
she
like,
can do whatever she wants
I mean,
in my eyes. I'm fine with that.
Okay, sure.
I think one thing that goes in favor for Lakers Celebrity Row is their extremely established older stars. It starts with Jack, then there's Denzel, Marky Mark, dudes like that. Rob Lowe, dudes that have been in LA for a long time that don't feel like they're just, they are chasing.
That old dude with the bedazzled cowboy hat, whatever his name is.
To where like I kind of started to get the feeling that Timothy Shamalama Ding Dong was a big sports fan. Like his appearance on College Game Day. His appearance on Game Day was awesome.
Yeah. He is. The more I see about him.
But I didn't realize he was like a diehard Knicks fan. And even if he is still seeing it for the first time, you're kind of like, oh, okay, there's Chamalay. Got it.
There he is, kissing his hot
he is.
Jenner girlfriend, too.
Okay, yeah.
It's almost as bad as Taylor with
Oh, is that
Everett.
Cardi B and Stephon Diggs? Oh, okay. Stephon Diggs is like from Louisiana.
Where's Cardi B from?
I don't know.
New York. I think Cardi B is actually from New York.
I don't know where Stephon Diggs is from, but.
Well, you see, he played for a New York State team.
On the other side of the state.
It's like a 4-hour drive, right?
He went to the University of Maryland. He was born in Maryland. All right.
All right.
Go Terps.
All right.
Close enough.
All right. Anyway, I just
we're-
exposed.
We're all just jealous because we can't be on Celebrity Row, okay?
I could. I would never financially recover. but-
Listen, it's not that I didn't want things to go far between Rihanna and myself. It's just we were in a different place,
Different place,
in our
different
life.
time.
I'm happy for her and A$AP Rocky, but it's just we were just different people. when we
I
met,
kept telling her
and
to
it
put out
just
a new
didn't work out.
album. She wouldn't listen to me.
That whole what is it? Sex with Me song. Yeah, who that was about. We had some great times, but that lifestyle she lives, it's just not me.
Is Spike the best courtside celebrity?
In New York?
He's at least been
No,
there.
in all of it.
Oh. I mean, I had Jack maybe.
Jack's
I don't know.
off the grid
He's
now.
all now, yeah.
Jack's
Again,
off the grid now.
The old dude with the bedazzled cowboy hat with the hot 20-year-old, you know who I'm talking about.
I actually
Jimmy,
don't.
Jimmy Goldstein or whatever his name is.
Is that the guy who sat next to Jack who looked like Donald
Dude, I'm going to
Sutherland?
show you a picture of him, and you're going to know exactly
You know
what
the guy I'm talking about
I
who sits
do.
next to Jack Nicholson who looks like Donald
But he's
Sutherland but
not,
isn't
yeah.
Donald Sutherland?
Absolutely.
This is bad for radio.
Rest in
but
peace, Donald
this
Sutherland.
guy,
I don't know him.
Jimmy Goldstein, he's at like every game. You serious? And look, like I said, on cue, next to a hot 20-year-old.
Oh, she
Well,
is.
duh. Most guys with money are.
I saw him at a Blazers Trailblazer game one time.
Yeah.
A Blazers playoff game one time. Sorry. See, here's another one. Hot blonde.
Different one?
Who is he?
I think so.
Who is
I think
he?
he's just like a real estate
record exec?
just magnet dude that made a bunch of money off of like real estate in LA
Oh, okay.
and bedazzled cowboy hats. Who knew there was such a market?
Well, at least he's not the dude in Kansas City robbing banks.
Oh my God, yeah. Buckley kind of gave me the lowdown on that.
What do you get,
story.
like,
That's a wild
30
story.
plus years?
Yeah,
that was-
30 years.
And he's like, yeah, he was robbing. He ended up robbing places with that wolf mask that he wore at Kansas City games. I'm like, well, I think that's where you went wrong.
Yep,
buddy.
that was a bad choice.
Kinda
That-
effed
that
up
was
there.
the bad choice. That was the bad choice.
Now, speaking of trying to maintain financials to go to seats or go to games and get good seats, yeah, I think that's why he was doing some of that, right? So we could go break into some banks, then we could get on to Celebrity Row.
Yeah, this old dude, he refuses to disclose his net worth or how he made his fortune, but Wall Street Journal speculates he made billions in real estate. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if he's at this Oklahoma City game. He is literally at every single.
Oh, is he like Marlins man?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of Marlins,
but
man.
cooler,
Dude, Marlins man has to suck.
right? I think he's a lawyer, so I mean,
He is, but like, bro, it's like Dodgers Yankees in the World Series, and you're behind home plate in bright orange, the visor, bro. It's like 38 degrees out there, man. 45 degrees on a blistery, chilly October night, and you're in a visor.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't know who Jimmy Goldstein is. He's a NBA playoff staple.
To be honest with you, I watch what's going on the court. I'm not too worried about the ancillary
He
stuff.
built the house from Big Lebowski.
Oh,
That really fancy house, which has also been featured in other movies, but
not safe for work movies.
oh yeah,
None of them.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was about to say a quote. and then I'm
Backdoor
like,
BBL's
nope.
9.
Yeah.
Seen that one, classic.
I can only get through the first 10 minutes, though.
10?
Yeah, good for you, buddy.
Wow.
Oh, God. We got to get out of here. All right. Well, Thunder defeat the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they take a 1-0 lead.
Would this be a good segue from Minnesota to Minnesota?
Minnesota. There are some teams that are playing really well right now. Can you imagine going on a massive win streak and still not being in first place in your division?
And nobody even caring
And
about
nobody
it.
cares at all. Let's do that next. Hot Corner, Today the Fan.
The definitive podcast for Oregon Ducks football fans is here. The program, a Ducks podcast.
I love twins. Joe's showing me some old stuff from back in the day.
Well, when I was texting Patrick,
Speaking of G Unit,
when I was talking with Patrick or texting him today about what we wanted to talk about, I was like, "Yeah, Orioles fire Brandon Hyde and twins," and that what came to my mind was that Coors Light commercial.
Oh my god!
I love burritos at 4 a.m.
I love burritos at 4 a.m.
Hanging with my friends and those twins.
Hey, do we get CBS Sports on the Hulu?
Check DirecTV if you don't. You get it there.
Check your local cable
Check your local cable provider.
No, I
to
say
see
I,
if you get CBS Sports.
I signed into my dad's DirecTV for y'all in there, so
I
you
know
can
you did.
rob that signal just like I am right now.
And twins.
And twins.
No, I wanted to put on Timbers Quakes,
Also questionable.
the Open Cup.
And twins, like they should. That's kind of what I'm talking
I
about.
think I might have a problem with having relations with twins.
Yeah, is that a fantasy you really want to fulfill?
Like, I just would
I think
feel,
that's one of
I'd feel
those-
so awkward for them.
I think in theory you're like, all right, twins.
Because isn't the main fantasy of like watching two girls go at it at the same time?
Yeah, and you don't want.
But when it's twins, you're like, I'm not into that.
Oh.
Oh. Is this HBO? Am I watching? Is this Game of Thrones?
Are they
No, it's Coors Light.
Coors Light, 4 a.m. burritos. As we alluded to, a couple teams are streaking right now. Joe's Minnesota Twins. They are.
I just think I need a drop of whenever the Twins are talked about. Just and those twins.
They're 9-1 of their last 10. They did lose yesterday.
They won 13 in a row.
They won 13 in a row, and when they had won 9 in a row, they had not moved a spot in the rankings.
And
of
I
the
think when they
division.
won 9 in a row, they were like, and we got the Orioles coming up.
They were still in 4th. Cleveland's taking a step back. Kansas City's taking a step back. Boy, Bobby Witt's not playing very well right now. But they are still chasing the best record in baseball, and that is the Detroit Tigers. You know, I find it interesting, Joe, as a diehard Central viewer, listener, lover, pulverizer, whatever you want to call it. Vegas had the Twins winning this division.
They did.
And we
Look how
talked about it at the beginning of the
stupid we look
season,
now.
and it was the dumbest thing in the world to me. Cleveland won it last year. Detroit's clearly the sexy new team on the block. And Kansas City, they made the playoffs as well, and they got Bobby Witt Jr. as a top 5 player in baseball. How are you going to tell me that always injured Carlos Correa, always injured Royce Lewis, and always injured Byron Buxton? Can you name me 3 starters? No, I can name 3 starters.
Well,
that's not a bad.
yeah,
that's not a bad.
Well,
that's
and I was just gonna say
that's not a bad reference.
you kept naming players that hit in field, and I was gonna be like, well, the thing is it's their pitching.
I know.
That is really.
I instantly
effing good.
said that, and I was like, "Damn it! This usually works for me, but not in this."
And
time.
also, we do have to eat a bit of crow because I think that we were like not really jazzed on their top 3 starters coming into the season, but they've all been playing. I mean, better than we imagined.
And they're bringing Zebby up, who has been pitching well in the minors. Yeah, Minnesota looks good. I think this division is going to be really, really, really difficult. I think,
like last year.
I think the American League East has kind of shown its true colors that this division is not as great as we anticipated it to be.
No.
You know, Toronto sits there in 3rd place, but boy, Vladdy's having a rough year. Biggio, I'm over that. Or sorry, not Biggio, Bichette. Bichette, I'm over that.
I was gonna say you're just now over.
Biggio's been on 3 teams since he was last on Toronto.
You know what? I think I'm finally.
I'm finally out on Biggio, and it's like, well, he's not on a team, so
I think half the league is out on Kevin Biggio.
but Bo Bichette, you know, I'm out on Bo Bichette, and Vladdy is struggling, and I don't know if that's roster construction around him. I don't know if Schneider's the right manager. More, what I'm saying is, I think the Central is the best division in the American League, and
I am curious now as far as runs.
and it's going to take
against-
and to tell me that Minnesota won 13 in a row and are still in 2nd place, and only they are. Let's see here. They are tied. They have percentage points over Kansas City, and Cleveland's a half game back. Like, you're telling me you won 13 in a row and you're still in the heat of everything? Division's going to be rough.
Yes, but I think again, just to go back to what we were saying in a couple segments ago with starting pitching, man, it's like that if they are pitching as good as they are now at the end of the season and just get into the playoffs,
I don't want to see the 1, 2, 3.
That's all you need.
I mean, I remember
they literally have the least amount of runs scored against them so far this season, and then their former in the American League 159. That is lowest in the American League.
Wow,
that's
I'll
lowest
be
in
damned.
baseball.
I'll be
Actually,
damn.
Yeah.
Mets at number 2 with 161.
And
I'll
also,
be
I mean,
damned.
Duran. I'm sorry. Am I messing names up? Sorry, I'm getting it confused.
Duran is on Boston.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What is the guy that they draft? No, Duran, John Duran or Juan Duran or whatever.
Johan Duran.
Thank you.
The closer.
They had him. He was meant to be a starter when they first got him, and now he's gravitated into that closing role, and he's been really good for them. Griffin Jacks has been good
Jacks
as
is
well.
maybe the 2nd best setup man in baseball.
So, I mean, this is one of those teams, man, where it's like you get them to the playoffs, and granted, Minnesota Twins playoff history over the last decade and a half hasn't been great.
Well, especially if you got to play the Yankees.
Yeah, but with this starting pitching, that's one of those. It's like a team where it's like just get us in and have us just lock your guys down for the first series and then the next series, and then get us in a 7-game series, and kind of all bets are off at that point. But I mean, in a 2-game series with that 1,
Wild
2,
card,
3,
yeah.
in a 5-game series,
Pablo Lopez. What's interesting too is a couple of years ago I heard this quote from a player in spring training who had gone against Ober in a spring training game and said, "Batters should be afraid. That guy throws hard. That guy is really good. I'm glad I don't play in the same league as him." And that was Bryce Harper. And I was like, Ober, huh? I'll ride this guy in fantasy. Sucked. Had him last year. Average. This year, not going to touch him. Pitching pretty damn well.
3.72 ERA. The guy with 2 first names, Joe Ryan, 2.42.
Joe Ryan's great.
2.42 ERA, 5 quality starts, as well as Ober with 5 quality starts.
And what's Pablo Lopez at?
He is at 2.4 ERA.
Sexy.
And
I
then
like it.
their 4th starter, Chris Paddock, a little bit above a 4 ERA.
But he's pitched in big. He's pitched in big games. He pitched in San Diego in big games. He's pitched in LA in big games. The guy's been around.
Yeah, that's where I say it's like you have the Twins in a 3-game series with those 3 starters and how they're playing, and if they keep that up throughout the season, and then you get them after the wild card round into the divisional round, and then you play a 5-game series, and then you have them in the American League Championship game for a 7-game series. Like I said, kind of all bets are off there. But that's not a bad 1 through 3. The way that those guys are pitching to roll into the playoffs with.
No, it's really not. Just emphasizes more why you should win the division and not be a wild card. Because if they're a wild card, it ain't gonna be fun.
Yeah, again, we'll see how it shapes out. But I would feel a lot of confidence in my team that the way that we're playing right now has catapulted us into like, okay, we can be just as good and compete with some of these teams. Now, granted, I am curious because I know that they played the Brewers, they played the Orioles, and who else was a part of this win streak? The Giants, the Orioles twice. Jesus, that's where they got 6 of those wins. And then the Red Sox. So, I mean, it does help when you play the worst team in the American League and possibly in the American League, 6
It also
times,
helps when you're in the division of the worst team in the American League.
But hey, those are the games you got to win.
Where is it? No, we ain't taking that. That's all I got for you.
Well, the Twins aren't taking it,
Nope.
and they will.
we ain't taking that.
Thank you.
They'll get a sweep here against the next team they play. Who's that? Oh, how about that?
Oh, I know.
You got 2 tomorrow against them, actually.
Rained out. We were supposed to have 2 today.
Yep.
Game got rained out.
So you're playing 3 games tomorrow?
Game got rained out in the 3rd yesterday. It was supposed to be played today, and they both got rained out.
Let's get the first triple header.
Triple
ever.
header. I think there are triple headers.
I was going to say that had to be
way
done
back,
in like
way-
1889 or something.
with all Skippy Cap Jr.
And racial nicknames that
and,
we can't say on
racial
air.
nicknames of dudes.
Boy, your skin sure is dark.
Darky?
You know what we'll call you?
We'll call you Darky Boy. It's not okay. The other team you were talking about was the St. Louis Cardinals.
Dude, they've been playing really good.
They've been
in
playing
May as
really
well.
good baseball for a team with a bunch of nobodies. And look, the Chicago Cubs offense is really fun to watch. That pitching staff is kind of worrisome a little bit. There are some guys on there that do pitch well. Look, I watched Sonny Gray pitch yesterday, and I can't think of a player outside of Zach Greinke that thrives more in no-name places than Sonny Gray. You put Sonny Gray in L.A. or New York, terrible. You put him in the Midwest,
the
Cy Young.
Athletics.
Cy Young.
Yeah.
I watched him throw yesterday. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, Eric Fetty's been solid for them, too. That was a mid-season trade last year, them getting Eric Fetty, I want to say.
Yep.
Yeah, at the trade deadline. He's been solid for them as well. Yeah, I just wonder how sustainable that is because, I mean, outside of, like, Nolan Arenado and Wilson Contreras, who is, just kind of middling. I mean, they do have one of the more fun names in baseball, though. Lars Nootbaar.
There's a guy in my fantasy league. His team is called Lars and the Newt Bar.
I am Lars. I make a very disturbing sound when I sleep.
My name is Lars Newt Bar.
I have a deviated septum. Do
I am
not
from-
be alarmed.
I am from California, And my mother is from Japan.
And Jordan
I play for Japan.
Jordan Walker still sucks.
Jordan Walker does kind of suck.
Yeah, so I just don't
But I mean,
know.
hey, they're starting to do St. Louis things where there's a bunch of no-names dudes that we're all going to know in the next few years. If they could just deal Arenado and get something for him, that might be worth it. Problem is he doesn't want to go anywhere. He wants to stay in St. Louis.
Well, maybe if they trade him and give money to the other team. That worked once before.
Did it work?
Well, no, but it got the deal done.
It did get the deal done.
Listen, we'll give you Nolan and Arenado. We just want these guys back. I don't know. And we'll
Wait,
give you money.
You want me to work less and make more money?
How much money did they
That's
give
an
him?
Office Space line or something like that.
So you're stealing.
You're going to fire Michael and Najir, make me work less and pay me more money?
But you are stealing. No. It's just fractions of a penny.
Fractions of a
They
penny.
just won't notice at all. But you're taking those fractions of a penny.
Dodgers and Mets have been really poor of late. Anybody concerned?
No on the Dodgers. No on the Mets.
I mean, they've got hitters, they got pitchers.
Yeah.
It's game 40. I'm not freaking out about anything yet.
I mean, Dodgers starters concern me. They concern
Don't
me.
they always concern
I was
us?
going to say, they always have like 8 guys with crab meat shoulders just
Well,
in and out of the IL.
Snell's on the IL. Glasnow's on
Just
the
got
IL.
Kershaw back, didn't they?
They did just get Kershaw back.
Shohei will be back by what? July, August?
Yeah, I'm not terribly worried. They're 4-6 of the last 10. They lost 4 in a row tonight or recently. And who are they playing tonight?
Dude, let me.
Oh, they're playing the Diamondbacks again. It's 1-0 in the 5th. I'm about to turn that game on.
Listen, it's not like the Cardinals and Nolan Arenado have had like a ton of success with him on the team, but I'm just going to read this trade for you again.
Do it.
The St. Louis Cardinals acquired Nolan Arenado from the Rockies along with $51 million.
$51 million?
Dude,
the Rockies are stupid.
In exchange for Austin Gomber, Mateo Gil, Tony Losi, Elhiris Montero, and Jake Summers. I don't know if any of those guys are even active MLB players at this point. Maybe Austin Gomber, but again, he would be on the Rockies, which I haven't watched the Rockies in 8 years, possibly.
What would you say you do here?
He is on the Rockies.
That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough.
That is one of the worst trades.
Did you see that Colorado fans are still going to games?
Yes.
They're like doing the reverse protest. They're like, let's go to games. The other's like,
well, it's the best outdoor sports bar in the area.
It's pretty good.
They're getting 30. I mean, I saw a local.
Can I get a Coors Light for like $3?
Their newscasters don't really know how things work because they think that like a 30,000 clip attendance like number isn't good because they seat 50,000, and it's like, no. Do you not understand that this owner will do nothing if he keeps getting 30,000?
I think U.S. Cellular tonight would have enjoyed 3,000, let alone 30,000.
They didn't even have 300 at that place.
Ooh, that place looked bad.
Well, it was windy as hell and wet.
So far in my research, Austin Gomber is a pitcher for the Rockies still, so 1 for 1.
What are his stats? Not good.
Mateo Gil is in Mexico.
Sick.
Tony Losi is not on a major league roster. Elhiris Montero is playing in Hiroshima. And then Jake Sommers, I can't even click his name on Wikipedia, so that
Getting higgy with it.
That doesn't bode well.
That does not.
He is selling insurance in Timbuktu.
Come down to Jake Sommers Subaru,
where we'll give you a deal.
A great deal.
At Jake Sommers Subarus, we'll sell you Subarus.
All right, when we come back, it's everybody's favorite fair or foul, but first, we'll have Schulte give you sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals between the Minnesota Timberwolves and Thunder in Oklahoma City, going the way of the home team, 114-88. The final big night for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, leading the way with 31 points. Julius Randle, 28 in the loss for Minnesota. Over on the ice, the Florida Panthers and Carolina Hurricanes battling it out for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Panthers get the 5-2 win in Carolina. And in baseball, the Seattle Mariners. It's been a tough one tonight. The game started about 2 hours late because of a rain delay. It is cold and wet and windy. Top 9, no outs. Chicago still leads the Mariners 1-0 down to their final 3 outs. Cal Raleigh at the plate right now, fouling it off, thankfully, into the crowd for the first pitch of the inning. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Curtain missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new black 1080 The Fan hoodie, as well as classic long and short sleeve tees. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com. Is it fair or is it foul?
Fastball tapped at the plate. It'll trickle down the third baseline. The Mariners are going to let it roll.
A knowledge test to see how well they know the big leagues.
Lenny Randall gets down on his hands and knees and blows on it like a curler, and it goes foul.
And what our distinguished hosts think about the stories that popped up around the big leagues.
But he got down on his hands and knees and literally blew the ball across the foul line.
This is Fair or Foul on the Hot Corner on 1080 The Fan.
I'm trying to look up these sports Emmys that are today. Holly Rowe, she got Emmy for Outstanding Reporter.
Oh, Sook's girlfriend?
Outstanding Sports Personality Play-by-Play goes to Mike Doc Emmerich. Let's go.
Go back to Sook's room and watch some film. Is that what Holly Rowe offered him? I believe that's what
that was in 2018. God, I'm so bad at Twitter.
I was going to say, Doc Emmerich retired like 5 years
Is he
ago.
dead?
Well, I can't help it that their timeline is showing like 5 tweets down is May 2018, and Holly Rowe is in 2023.
You know what you're doing?
These guys!
Are you logged into Twitter or not? Because so if you're not logged into Twitter, Patrick, they encourage you to sign up or log in. You basically get 5 or 6 tweets separated by years.
Yeah, like their most popular tweets.
Yeah, you don't get anything like up to date. So I've fallen into that pitfall. It's not your fault, buddy. Not your fault at all.
Draisaitl passes off to McDavid. He scores! Oilers!
You ever been to a volcano?
I think I'm going to bid on some of the Bill Walton stuff. Just the Grateful Dead stuff.
I'm unfamiliar.
Oh, all of his stuff's going up for auction.
Yeah, his championship rings, his jerseys.
Does he have a 5-wood up for auction by chance?
He does not, actually.
No,
but his bikes are. And he's got a bunch of Grateful Dead stuff that I'm interested
I
in.
don't think I can swing a bike at a golf club.
He's got a license plate up for grabs. Like, it's quite a bit.
I need to go to estate sales. I think there's some old dudes that have recently passed that probably have some real nice golf clubs.
All right, this is Fair or Foul, everybody's favorite. We do it every single Tuesday at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. Without further ado, we turn it over to Schultz.
All right, guys. We were talking about Juan Soto earlier in the show.
Yeah, he's lazy and he
He sucks. No, actually, still really good. We were talking about his high number of walks. Go get the podcast anywhere you find your podcasts from 1080 The Fan. He, of course, and we'll give you the number because you did say it earlier, 38 walks for Juan Soto. He is actually not quite leading MLB, but he is close, guys. I will give you the 3 leaders in Major League Baseball: Marcell Ozuna, Rafael Devers, and Juan Soto. Devers has 38 walks.
Talk about Devers today.
I know, right? It's weird, but he is on the list. Hey, Devers is batting 286.
I care less about Devers.
And he is kind of a bitch.
Gotta please Boss Man Cooley, though. We'll have to shoehorn it in somehow.
I think he wins the award of overreaction of the early part of MLB 2025.
That's a fact. Anyway, sorry, continue.
No,
Marcell Ozuna, Rafi Devers.
Yeah, they all have. Ozuna leads it with 40 walks. Devers and Soto each have 38, right? So fair or foul, you guys. These 3 players combined, the leaders in walks in Major League Baseball, have more walks than the total team of the Los Angeles Angels. Fair or foul?
I was hoping you were going to say Rockies because I think that Rockies have like
too
2
easy,
of the
man.
3 most struck out players
He's
of the
trying
season.
to get us to, like, try.
Of the Anaheim Angels,
Actually,
of
Los
Los
Angeles
Angeles, of
Angels.
Southern California, of Orange County,
Of California, featuring Nolan
Next to
Ryan,
Disneyland.
presented by Vizio.
of
And,
Carlsbad.
At the Rose Bowl.
Rockies are not even close, so no.
I'll take a stab at this. You know, this Angels team. Yeah, I'm going to say foul. All right, fair. Yeah,
you
I
know,
think they
this
suck.
Angels team.
This Angels team, you know, they won 4 from the
They're-
Dodgers. Look
they're
out for
a-
them.
they're a baseball
Nobody mess with the
team.
mouse. I'm just telling you. I will say fair because as much as I like secretly want this Angels team to be good, I don't think they are. I think they got guys that strike out and hit the ball. I don't think they got guys taking walks.
Yeah.
Total assumption. No facts behind that.
And I will jump on that assumption train right there. Because
Well, you know what they say about assumptions?
I don't.
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Is that what they say? Is that another one of those made-up sayings that I was
Yes.
showing you earlier?
Yeah, those were great.
They are good. Sometimes you just got to put your finger on the hose, you know?
You're a guy that you're the pen left in the washing machine. That was the best one. I will say fair.
You're calling balls and strikes from outfield, Patrick.
Oh, my God. All right, are we good?
I'm riding the assumption train that fair, they have more walks combined than the Angels do.
It is close, you guys, but it is actually foul just by 1. Soto and Devers each have 38. Marcell has 40. It would be a total of 116 if my math is correct, and the Angels have 117. But God, that is just an ass stat. And I mean, since the 3rd week of the season, the Angels have pretty much been ass. And
Not stats for your ass. Ass stats.
Ass for your ass.
Ass stats for your ass.
All right, guys, sticking with the Angels for our next fair or foul question. It's not really the Angels as much as it is like the rest of the league's managers, along with the consideration of one Ron freaking cocaine sniffer, at least formerly Washington. So, of course,
don't you blasphemy wash like that.
Give me your best.
That
He
guy,
is the only-
that guy is my hero. He's got a mustache. He's been to multiple World Series, won one as a third base coach, and got popped in his 60s for doing blow.
Can you tell me?
Spirit animal.
I mean, since Ron Washington, I'm pretty sure the only manager to be fired for
The 7-foot kid that strokes it with the acne on his back.
That was a misfire, but kind of worked.
Hey!
And spit on that night.
I'll take both. That was good. No, but do you notice like the only, I think, manager or player to lose his job for infidelity was the Mickey Callaway, pitching coach turned manager for the Mets, but he was being a creep. Like, Ron Washington is the only guy fired, I believe, for cocaine use and cheating on his wife. It's crazy to me.
Good for him.
I would never cheat on my wife, but God, that guy's living an awesome life.
It's just my point is
He's like
that
the David Ruffin of MLB, okay?
Am I right?
There's allegedly a lot of sleeping around going on the road in MLB or multiple sports combined. So we don't know, but we know. And I just hate to see a guy basically just thrown out of baseball for that. But he worked his way back, and now he is at the top of the list of the next managers to get fired. Of course, Orioles manager Brandon Hyde. Over the weekend, the latest name, you had Derek Shelton let go by the Pirates. You had Bud Black then let go, and Hyde becomes the third one. Who will be the fourth, y'all? So the two names that are the highest on this list are one Ron Washington and John Schneider for the Toronto Blue Jays. They are only one game under 500, much better than the Angels, at least in the NL East compared to the Angels spot in the West, guys. Fair or foul, the next manager to be fired will be Wash of the LA Angels.
Can they fire the Rockies manager a second
Again?
time?
Again?
Yeah. Like, oh my God.
You ever fired 2 managers in one season?
You're just as bad as the last one. Has that? I wonder if that's ever happened. I feel like.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they don't come back, so are you technically fired? Like they remove the interim
That'd be
tag and
amazing.
say
Yeah.
you are not coming back.
I kind of want to see that
I
happen.
don't think that counts.
That would be a shocker. I'm looking at the managers or the teams that are wallowing in the MLB. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's really Ron Washington's fault how bad the Angels are, though.
Yeah, but they spent money, so they're like expecting him to do something. Oh, sorry, Joko. I didn't mean to cut you off there. Guys that can get fired by the end of the year.
Is Don Mattingly still in Miami?
No. John Schneider is a great call.
Yeah.
Ron Washington. I don't think Kotze
No, he's not on the
or,
list.
you know,
Do you
or
know who the Marlins manager
Bochy.
is?
Stop asking questions. Espada at Houston could be interesting, but I think they'll give him a leash. Pat Murphy in Milwaukee.
I mean, he's in his second season, and they won the division last year.
That
so
is
I don't
true.
think
That
that's
is
going to
true.
happen.
What about Marmol, Oliver Marmol? Cardinals aren't doing terrible, but they're not great either.
I mean, they're out kicking the coverage right now.
Well, they fired Schilt, though, and it's literally gotten them what with
So
Marmol?
it's not going to be
How
Marlins
much?
because their manager is in his first season. Their manager's name is Clayton McCullough.
Clayton McCullough.
Clayton
Oh, right, because Skip Schumacher won NL
McCullough.
Manager of the Year, and then they fired him.
F you.
So it's not going to be him.
I think it's Schneider personally. So I will say foul. I think the Rays will do Rays things and eventually get up. And I think Baltimore can't be this bad all year. Don't be shocked if Toronto finishes last in that division. Santander, Bichette, Vladdy, Springer. Who's
And
the fat guy catcher?
7
that
foot,
guy,
7 foot
Alejandro
kid.
Kirk. Alejandro Kirk.
That is Kirk. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I don't see the Nationals getting rid of Martinez anytime soon.
Martinez
He's on the list, though. Surprisingly,
Well,
he's
yeah.
up there with these two.
Yeah, but his team is in. I mean,
They're making moves. They're also in a really hard division.
and they're young.
And they won a World Series in the last 5-6 years.
No, he'll get at least 2 more years. Then they'll fire him. Then they'll go to a World Series.
You know, I
The
think
old
I.
Showalter model.
Hey.
Yeah, I would say if it's not Ron Washington, then it's John Schneider.
I'll
This
tell you
is
what,
this is Washington's second year, right?
Yeah, this is only his second year, which is why it's so surprising. But he wasn't, I mean, looking at some articles, he wasn't really thought to be a long-term answer there anyway.
Looking at the West, though, he is by far the biggest chance.
Yeah,
Because Kotze ain't going anywhere.
Nope.
Bochy can manage there until he's dead. Espada, they're going to give him a leash, and Dan Wilson's in his first year and in first.
I'm going to lean John Schneider if things just keep going in a downward trajectory. Like the Angels, I mean, if they really thought they were going to be competing for the division this year.
Because there's also
like,
teams that are that aren't going to be good this year. Like Tampa's not going to be good this year. Cash is not getting fired. Okay,
But
he's not getting fired.
He would have gotten fired 7 years ago if he actually.
He's
were
not
going to.
getting fired. Tito and Cincy is not getting fired. Schilt, Melvin,
No.
Roberts, Lavolo are not getting fired.
If anything, I'll go Schneider first and then maybe Ron Washington, but they might give him one more year, honestly.
I'll take a third wild card. Nobody.
I like that.
For the rest of the season?
The rest of the season.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the
Nobody.
case either, yeah.
Should have thrown that as an option.
I mean,
I heard that's,
I'd fire Aaron Boone, but I've been on this train for a long time.
you have, and I'm not sure they're gonna.
Especially after giving him an extension.
Yeah, no kidding. I heard Scott Service thrown around as a candidate for the Orioles job, Joe. That role you're
I think
screwed
that I think that'd be a great hire. I think Service is a really solid manager.
Yeah. Just doesn't have much to work with, kind of
Joe's
like
not
he did in
happy about
Seattle.
that.
So,
You're just digging the knife into the wound.
I mean, who do you want?
I don't know. Someone who actually coaches a winning team.
Service brought the Mariners back to the playoffs there, brah.
Buck, dude.
And how did that end up for him?
Go get Buck.
You go back to Buck? Are you serious?
Why not? Get his old ass out there.
God, the Orioles become the Billy Martin freaking Yankees of the 2020s.
Except for
Unbelievable.
Billy Martin won titles.
All right, guys.
That was a low blow.
That was. Kind of went right over my head. My bad.
That was a low blow.
All right, guys, I think we got time for one more. Let's see. I'll choose one of the ones I have left. Oh, this is a great one. So we did get an update in the last couple of weeks about the Pittsburgh Pirates fan that fell over the outfield wall. He is alert. Suffered some pretty
Why am I
rough.
laughing? I don't know.
What the hell, dude? What's wrong with you? Did I say something funny?
No, it's totally me.
I'm just funny looking.
It's a good
okay.
thing he's is in better condition.
Making a
now.
recovery.
Yeah.
because
I'm
Jesus,
so happy
Patrick.
for that.
Okay, now you have me laughing.
Well,
damn
I
it.
think I'm giggling because I saw a headline that somebody is charged, and it's just like his
Yeah.
best friend or something.
It's
100%.
yeah, a buddy. Yeah, this is kind of where I was getting to, but to set up this story. But exactly,
It's his buddy from Sigma Nu.
Yeah, bro, frat activities. Actually, it was a frat attend the ball game. No, I'm just kidding. That would have been nuts, and there probably would have been more than one guy over the wall. Let's see here. But as I get the music going again, my bad. So basically, the update on this kid is, of course, he's alert. He is going to recover. Pretty rough injuries, though. They did charge his friend for providing him with alcohol as an underage citizen.
Oh.
He is 20 years old. So he is only 20, and the story...
His buddy was 21.
The story as to why this happened is because basically as a 20-year-old, his buddy was lighting him up with drinks the whole game.
And it's not that you can't, he can't decide that he doesn't want to press charges. It's that it's not up to him.
No, yeah, they saw it. They got the video surveillance and saw who he was with. Saw the guy buy 2 beers at the counter, and
Pass
then later,
one to him.
yeah, and then
Which
later
happens at
surveillance.
stadiums all day, every day. Not absolving or anything like that, but that happens at stadiums everywhere.
Well, and Bob Nutting and the Pirates were like, "I'll be damned if I'm paying any money towards any sort of lawsuit."
Let's figure.
Check every
check
camera.
the tapes. I want to know.
I'm not paying players. I'm not paying money for lawsuits.
And he fires the one person that sold the guy a couple beers.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
And
yeah,
he's like,
you
"See,
know.
we've handled the problem internally, and we're as disappointed as everybody else."
That'll
in this
save us
situation.
$10.25.
You know their boss.
It's
an hour.
Pennsylvania $7.25.
Oh
No,
yeah,
it was the
federal
dude
rate.
that sold him the beer and the boss of the dude that sold him the beer that got fired. Right down the line. But anyways, because of him being drunk and over consuming, he essentially launched himself over the wall to cause said rough injuries, broken ribs, broken shoulder, lots of stuff. Guys, this had me thinking about the safety, and you talk about liability, especially one like the Pittsburgh Pirates, a team that is super, super cheap. You wonder if teams are going to start considering maybe, okay, we should not allow fans at all onto the field or able to hop over the fence in any part of the ballpark. Fair or foul, guys, I don't want this to happen, but I see us going towards it. Nets should be placed around all of the outfield to completely block access, for safety reasons, fair or foul.
You're kind of talking about, they do this in places in Italy.
They do.
In Serie A, like giant plexiglass. I mean, it's almost like a hockey rink to prevent people from throwing stuff and jumping on, etc. Hockey does it for safety of their fans, but we're kind of like used to it. Right? Isn't that part of the aesthetic of hockey?
Yes.
Is the plexiglass around, you bang on it, even though the attendees tell you not to bang on it, and you still do because that's why we're there. I don't think it'll go this far. I will say foul. I think that would be a pretty steep punishment, quote unquote, for the fan experience. And if there's anything baseball has going for them, is it's the best live experience outside of a competitive football game, and I mean football game, to be at, that I don't think baseball wants to really do too much more to prevent the on-field experience. I will say foul.
Yeah, I understand the netting around the foul lines because of bats flying out there
And
and
hard
foul
hit
balls.
baseballs,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But to do it in the outfield, surround the entire field, I mean, that's just, yeah, I am not on board with
I
that
wouldn't
at all.
have Adam Jones with that catch for Team USA.
Well, yeah, and I think that would mess up players going for those outfield home run catches. I know it'd be different from field to field.
They'd
and
all
fence
break
to
their
fence,
shoulder
but-
like Victor Robles.
Yeah,
It'd be interesting if they do something like they have in Toronto. I mean, you saw Dalton Varsho climb that wall. It'd be interesting if that's what it is. Like if you make
Dude, that picture is insane.
I know. If you make it that much higher, then that would really prevent you from messing around because then you know you're really going to be hurt. And then what would the Yankees do with the short porching right? What about pesky Paul in Boston?
Or that stupid green wall. Reports from that Pirates game were
That we
saying
decided that left center and right field of Fenway suck.
Yeah, basically the whole field.
Its center's like 465 and there's a weird corner.
They built it in the early 1900s. Get with the times. The reports from that Pittsburgh game is that the kid that fell, reports say that he was yelling Alpha Sigma on the way down.
Alpha Sigma!
Wish that were true.
All right, that is Fair or Foul. We do it every single Tuesday at the bottom of the hour. Thank you, Schultze. That was a good one. We come back, we'll close up shop. Hot Corner, Today the Fan.
Thanks for making 10. All season. This is the Hot Corner with Harrison Fisher on 1080 The Fan.
I think next week when we come back, we should probably really dive into why the Tigers are good. And not just the obvious, like, Tarek Skubal didn't throw a quality start today, yet, they're still one of the best teams, if not the best team, at least record-wise in Major League Baseball. So I think next week we should actually take a deep dive, plus I love when, like, power rankings come out. I don't really put a lot of, weight into them. But the power rankings come out. Some have Dodgers won. Some have Tigers won. That's another exhausting national media kind of list radio BS to kind of go through. But I always love when that stuff happens. I always like to say, well, let's wait a week. Like, are the Dodgers bad? No, they're not bad. Let's wait a week. Okay, they're playing the Diamondbacks. That's a hotly contested
Are the
series.
Orioles really cooked? Let's wait a week.
We've done that. So I'd like to, let's wait another week. And if Tigers are still doing this, then yeah, I say we designate some good time to that. But I want to clean up shop a little bit here. Jose Alvarado, he's got an 80-game pop. He's the closer for the Phillies. Had himself a nice little season. ERA in the mid-twos, had some strikeouts, 7 saves, I believe. That's 80 games and no postseason for him. That puts the Phillies in a bad spot. That makes Jordan Romano their closer, who, let me tell you, as a fantasy owner, I hate that guy. Sounds like a wonderful human being. Absolutely can't stand him on a roster. So this puts a lot of things into question for the Phillies, but my real question for you guys is, when are players going to stop giving me absolute BS reasons to why they fail tests?
Well, I didn't even read Alvarado's.
Oh, Jose Alvarado, he's a big boy. He's a big boy.
I was I did the 999 challenge.
He failed the drug test for elevated testosterone due to some weight loss medication that he had been on.
Oh, is he doing some GLP-1?
I have no idea. I don't look into it that much. Because
some
usually when
Wegovy?
someone gets popped for steroids, I'm just like, okay, see you later.
Was he on the fat shot drug?
I don't think Ozempic is a banned substance.
No, it has to do.
And if you're rich, just do Ozempic, bro.
It's basically one of those throwaway excuses where you're being like, oh, well, I took something and didn't know steroids was in it. It's
but
the
like,
thing we've
when are
heard over 30
when
years.
are we gonna get there,
100
guys? You got 30 people in that clubhouse could be like, yo, I'm thinking about losing a bunch of weight. They're like, that's great, Jose. How are you gonna do that? He's like, well, I'm gonna take drugs. They're like, whoa! Let's make sure we see those drugs before you even think about touching them.
Yeah, if you believe that players don't closely look at these labels, you're stupid. Or if they're not having multiple discussions, like Robinson Cano's first excuse said, oh, well, I was described something from a doctor in the Dominican Republic. Basically, then the second time had nothing to say.
Manny Ramirez, female fertility drugs.
Which is used to lower testosterone on the cycle that you are coming out of taking your actual steroids.
Well, I'm going to say that they're not reading the label of everything because it keeps happening.
It's kind of like celebrities, sports athletes with DUIs. Like, bro, you got hella money. Just call somebody.
Dude, we don't even read the stuff that we eat and read our labels as normal Americans. You know how many times we would have been popped for a drug test at this point?
Dude, why they got sugar in mac and cheese, huh?
I'd be
That's
like,
what I want to know.
Sorry, Mr. Fisher, you've been suspended 80 games. Why? What'd you do? You had Heinz ketchup. What? Yeah, there's actually 3 banned substances.
You ate Taco Bell at 4 in the morning.
Hey, I love burritos at 4 a.m., okay? Football with my friends, pom-poms, mini skirts,
Sigma Alpha,
and twins.
All right, that'll do it for us. I'll see you in Idaho. I'll be back next Tuesday.
Dude, those rapids better be epic.
Epic, absolutely epic, bro.
Do it for Sigma Nu.
Hopefully, I can still walk when I'm done, bro.
Oh my God. Were you at a Pirates game?
Yeah, what are we talking about now? I think we changed subjects.
All right, that'll do it for us. We'll catch you next week. Schultze on the ones and twos. For Joe Fisher, I'm Patrick Harris. Go do something I would do.
So, where you guys playing golf at? We're playing over at Clearmont.